Good morning. I'm Reverend Kathy McCall. Welcome to Unity North Spiritual Center here in Coon Rapids, Minnesota. We're so happy you're all here with us this morning. And we have a special treat, too. First of all, let me just talk about Unity a second. We are an inclusive community. We welcome and accept all people. So whoever you are, wherever you are on your spiritual path, you're welcome here at Unity. We're also part of a greater worldwide Unity movement. We are the publishers of the Daily Word magazine, and we've been holding 133 years of prayer vigil through Silent Unity, the prayer ministry of the Unity movement. So prayer is the heart and soul of Unity. And after service every Sunday, we have a prayer chaplain who's available for prayer support for you. And that prayer chaplain today is Wendy Erickson. Wendy, are you here? Don't see her yet. Her phone number will be listed in the chat, and it will be also in the announcement time. So you can just give her a call if you have prayer need. And if she's going, I think she may be in the kitchen right now. So if you need her live, she's willing to pray with you here as well. So also, I just want to mention, I'm going to speak our mission and vision today. We don't have it up on our screen, but our vision statement is centered in prayer. We create for all a world of love, harmony, and abundance. And our mission is celebrating spirit, exploring truths, awakening hearts, inspiring dreams, and serving community. Well, today we have a special treat with the Brooklyn Big Band, and it was formed in 2006 by Brooklyn United Methodist Church music director Michael Anderson and North Hennepin Community College Jazz Ensemble director David Mantini. They play big band jazz arrangements of Christian hymn tunes and also classic, standard, and modern jazz music. David Mantini splits his time at North Hennepin Community College between the music department and the honors program. He directs the jazz ensemble and concert band, teaches instrumental music lessons, and is the honors program director and advisor for Phi Theta Kappa, the International Honor Society for two-year colleges. He also performs with the Elk River German Band, directs the Brooklyn United Methodist Big Band and the Brooklyn Community Concert Band. In addition, he freelances across the Twin Cities and teaches private trumpet lessons. However you manage that, I don't know. So he lives in Brooklyn Park with his wife and two sons. And let's give a warm welcome to him and to the whole Brooklyn Big Band.
What a great, fun way to start the morning. Good morning, everybody. So many familiar faces I haven't seen in a while, so it's very exciting to have everybody here. I am Sadie Grinsa. I'm the worship assistant for today. So thank you to the Brooklyn Big Band for being here. Are there any first-timers here? I feel like there's probably a couple people who have not come before. So welcome, all of you, welcome so much. Everybody else, welcome. If you're interested in more information, we have pamphlets in the back, but welcome. And otherwise, we would say hello to all of the other familiar faces, so feel free to wave, say hello across the way, wave to the Zoom people in the back who are also up on the screen, but welcome to our space. Hi, Candy. All right. So this is the time where we are going to take a second to have some prayer requests. So we aren't going to speak them out loud, so you're welcome to just hold in your mind a thought or a prayer that you have. And if you don't have anything specific, you are more than welcome to see a respectful and peaceful Vikings win against the Packers today. So feel free to just, hold that in your mind and send it out there to Green Bay. But other words, take a deep breath and close your eyes and find that peaceful center where you see the light of your prayer just expanding out and into the universe. And we know that what we put out into the universe comes true. So we'll be remaining centered as I read the daily word. The daily word for today, Saturday, October 28th, 2023, is Let Go, Let God. Oh, thank you. It is Sunday. I knew that. So welcome to Sunday, October 29th. Imagination. I imagine and create my most magnificent life. I admire the storyteller's gift for creating fantastic worlds where impossible things happen. I immerse myself in the story, allowing myself to feel the wonder, the exhilaration, and even the sadness of the storyteller's imagination has created. No matter how scary the story, there is nothing to fear. It is only a story. My imagination helps me create my life story. Guided by divine wisdom and will, I imagine a positive, meaningful life. If disturbing thoughts cloud my imagination, I remember I am God's living expression. There is nothing to fear. My spiritual gifts of faith, love, strength, and understanding join with my imagination to build the fulfilling life my heart desires. From Joel chapter 2, verse 28, I will pour out my spirit in all flesh. Your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, your old men shall dream dreams, and your younger men shall see visions. The daily word for today, Sunday, October 29th, is imagination.
I invite you now to sit back and close your eyes, find a comfortable position, and just take several deep breaths for meditation. As we relax our bodies and minds, let us know that every moment spent in prayer is communion with God. In this union, we are renewed in mind, body, and spirit, for we touch the hem of divine love. Let us just take a deep breath, inhaling that love and joy, releasing any tension that we're carrying with us today, releasing any concerns or worries. As we say to our minds and bodies, relax, relax, relax. As we quiet our thoughts, we feel the presence of God within and around us. Let us just feel this presence now. There is only God, and God is love. We can ask ourselves, am I unhappy? God's love is greater than any sadness. Am I having challenges with work or money? God's love is greater than any lack. Am I having difficulties in relationships? God's love is greater than a relationship problem. Am I having any challenges in my life at all right now? God's love is greater than any challenge. There's a simple statement we can use at any time to uplift our minds and hearts. It is, God's love is greater than this. Let us speak this silently to ourselves and feel the true meaning of the words, God's love is greater than this. Now silently. The presence of divine love fills our hearts with joy. Nothing can stand in the way of God's love. It is greater than all the difficulties of the entire world, greater than any problem that can confront us. It shines from within us like a beacon of light. And we place every concern in this light, knowing there is a right and perfect answer, whatever's on our minds, whatever decisions we have to make. We release to divine love and let the light of love guide us in the best way. So we know that God's love is the source of all abundance. Our minds are filled with prospering ideas. And we remember that all day today, we rest in God's great love. If an outer challenge appears, we quietly say, God's love is greater. We let God love us and love through us. God's love is so great, it fills all time and all space. It is instant compassion, constant tenderness, and transforming forgiveness. So as we come back now, stretching our bodies, coming back to this time and place, we say thank you, God, for divine love. And so it is. Amen.
The children that Moses led, oh, God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children, wade in the water. Oh, God's gonna trouble the water. Who's that yonder dressed in white? Children of the Israelite, oh, God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children, wade in the water. Oh, God's gonna trouble the water. Children that's coming through, God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water. Wade in the water,
What a great band, and what a powerhouse voice. I love it. I heard a story about a man who'd been married for over 30 years, and returning home from work one evening, he found his wife packing a suitcase. And he said, "What in the world are you doing?" And she said, I've had enough. We've done nothing but fight and argue and complain and bicker at each other, and I've decided to leave." And the man stood in shock and bewilderment as his wife walked out of the house. Suddenly he dashed to the bedroom, grabbed a suitcase, ran outside, and hollered to her, "I can't handle it anymore either. Wait for me and I'll go with you." If only it would be that easy. Well, love does make the world go round. It's the power of gravity calling all beings and all things to unite. In unity, we call it the harmonizing and attracting power of the universe. And each of us can activate this power by focusing at the heart center and calling it forth through affirmative prayer. Here at Unity, we are engaged in a series, a 7-week series called Awakening the 12 Powers. And this is the 5th week, though if you haven't heard the other talks this week, each week stands on its own. We teach that we all have 12 spiritual powers that are to be called forth and awakened to help attain and enlighten consciousness. In many ways, our spiritual path is like a heroic journey in which we go through various archetypal or universal stages of self-discovery, and we can correlate them with the development of our 12 powers. We can even see these archetypal stages in the main Old Testament stories. So today we're talking about the archetypes of the lover and the creator, and our spiritual powers of love and imagination. So it's perfect. The Sunday daily word was imagination. Well, in the Old Testament journey we have been taking, we're looking at the stories metaphysically or metaphorically. So we've come to the point where the Hebrew people have reached the promised land. They've made it through the water, past the water. They've reached the promised land. And the promised land is symbolic of a more enlightened state of consciousness. There the people began to establish their kingdom. And that brings us to David. Of all the characters in the Old Testament, David is the archetypal lover. He was the second king in Israel and anointed very young. He had to wait for his kingship to manifest. His story is a long one, and I'll only speak of a small part of it, but his entire story includes all the ups and downs of love. And the stories we most remember or know are David and Goliath and David and Bathsheba. And David and Goliath was the story where David killed the Philistine giant with a slingshot, symbolic of killing the old thoughts and fears that become too large and prevent us from opening our hearts. And David had a lot of ups and downs, and the selfish aspects of love are described in his story as well. In the beginning, in many ways, he was cruel, and he was a warrior. And one day, he sees Bathsheba. He's out on his terrace, and he looks across the way at the next building, and he sees this woman bathing, and it was lust at first sight. And so he had her husband put at the front lines of the battle so he would be killed, and David could have Bathsheba. When you agree, there's a certain selfishness in that. Yeah. Well, the first child they gave birth to died, and it was said to be punishment, although we would not ascribe it to a punishing God, but rather perhaps to the law of cause and effect. He set some serious effects into motion. And finally, Nathan the prophet came and showed him the error of his ways through a story. And at that point, David was able to see the truth about himself and repent and ask for forgiveness, and then finally move into true love. On our own life journeys, we too must forgive and open our hearts to deeper love. Well, at that point, David's second son was born to Bathsheba, and that son you may have heard of. His name was Solomon. And he became the builder of the great temple in Jerusalem during that time. And when we awaken to the love within us and open our hearts, we finally access our true creative gifts, our spiritual calling, so to speak. So Solomon is the archetypal creator. And I'll return to him in a bit, but first a little more about love. Children always have a lot to say about it. Anita, age 6, said, "I'm in favor of love, as long as it doesn't happen when the Simpsons are on television." 8-year-old Bobby said, "Love will find you, even if you're trying to hide from it. I've been trying to hide from it since I was 5, but the girls keep finding me." And Regina, age 10, said, "I'm not rushing into being in love. I'm finding 4th grade hard enough." And 9-year-old Floyd said, "Love is foolish, but I still might try it sometime." Well, I learned this week from my son Justin that my 15-year-old grandson Dylan is in love. And I'm really happy to hear it because he is the shyest kid on the planet, which was much like I was. Well, Justin said that he's denying it. He's denying that he likes a girl, even though his friends tease him. However, Justin said that there are some signs that are very telling. The first is that Dylan has never wanted to exercise or do sports in his entire life, but suddenly he wants to go to the Y and lift weights every day. Secondly, he hasn't had a haircut for months, and suddenly he wants that hair appointment immediately. And then the third the most telling, is that Justin walked in the house one day and he said, "What is that smell?" And he discovered that Dylan had overdosed himself with cologne. Well, there's great passion, which is eros, passionate love for another, and a deep spiritual love, which is agape. For some of us, love has been like a merry-go-round, pursuing eros round and round in the same circle over and over. For others, like a roller coaster with extreme highs and lows. Some can be described by the old country western song, "Looking for love in all the wrong places." And for many, it's been a little of all of the above. It seems love is the arena that causes our greatest pain and our greatest joy. And every individual in the deepest part of him or herself longs for wholeness, for union. There's this restless longing, and it's a basic urge that leads us to seek companionship and love. Some might say it's the basic drive for children and family, but there's an even deeper motivation, because within us is an intuitive sense of our union with God and one another. We long for a special kind of oneness, for another person in our lives to make us whole. A little boy attended his first wedding, and after the service, his cousin asked him, "How many people can a man marry?" 16, the boy responded. His cousin was amazed he had an answer so quickly. "How do you know that?" he asked. "Easy," the little boy said. "All you have to do is add it up like the bishop said. 4 better, 4 worse, 4 richer, 4 poorer." Well, Teilhard de Chardin said, "Love is the underlying movement and pattern behind the universe. God is the divine lover calling the world into becoming, and the search for the beloved is the lure of human becoming, and this is the essence of agape." In his book, The Way of Passion, mystic Andrew Harvey said, "When your heart has been purified," the Sufis say, "the eye of the heart opens, and that eye sees the beloved in every person, in every blade of grass, the shining of the shining, in every event and every action." So the power of love helps us to become the creator. And with the challenges that we face in our world today, we must use our creative imaginations for good. An entire culture can accept a particular story and through the power of the imagination give it great power for good or for ill. We have a choice what to believe and imagine. So which do you prefer to imagine, war and poverty or peace and plenty? We can create fear or bliss if we choose through the stories that we imagine and tell, through the thoughts that we entertain. So with imagination, we bring that which is formless into form. It is the key to manifestation. So if we're having any problems in our lives, a prosperity challenge, if there's not enough money coming in, or a health challenge, or a difficult relationship, or no intimate relationship at all, or the issue of finding our right work, or confusion about our purpose and mission, whatever it is, creative imagination can help us to manifest our heart's desires, and especially if imagination is coupled with love. The creator archetype with its power of imagination is about moving beyond the rules of the right brain part of us. We can ask ourselves, am I creating my life as a work of art? What are my spiritual gifts? Am I following my bliss? So this is a place in the heroic journey that we've been taking through these archetypal powers where we find the prize or the gift. The purpose of the spiritual journey with its experiences and challenges is the winning of the prize. All stories of the quest revolve around a fabulous treasure, from the ancient Holy Grail and Golden Fleece adventures to our current tales in books and movies. Any quest story has a valuable prize as its goal. It may be a chest of gold or a magic sword. It may be a physical healing or a loving relationship. It may be freedom from a long-standing addiction. Prizes come in all shapes and sizes, but the material prize is always accompanied by the true prize, which is the spiritual gain or realization of the true self. So whatever the prize, it always brings with it a new beginning. In Old Testament language, the prize was the temple. It involved a process to build it, a vision, the creation of what the Hebrew people called the Holy of Holies. And it was built in the heart of Jerusalem by Solomon, the creator. And in the Old Testament story, the temple represents this high consciousness built in us through our love and devotion to God, through our prayers, through our efforts to live in love and harmony. And with every thought of truth that we think, with every thought of truth that we speak, with every action of truth that we take, we are building a temple, an inner temple, a greater knowing of God. And it is through this consciousness that we have the power to create or to destroy. So what happened before Solomon could build this temple? Well, he prayed to God, and that night God appeared to him and said, "Ask what I shall give you." And Solomon said to God, "You have shown great and steadfast love to David my father, and you have made me king in his place. Let your promise to him be fulfilled, for you have made me king over your people, as many as the dust of the earth. Give me now wisdom and knowledge to go out and come in before the people, for who can rule such a great people?" And God answered, "Because this was in your heart, and you have not asked for possessions, wealth, honor, or the life of those who hate you, and have not even asked long life, but have asked wisdom and knowledge for yourself, that you may rule my people, wisdom and knowledge are granted to you. I will also give you riches, possessions, and honor, such as none of the kings who were before you, and none after shall have the like." Then Solomon undertook the building of the temple in Jerusalem, and he also turned Jerusalem into a great and imposing city. The Hebrew kingdom reached its highest peak under him, and Solomon's fame spread far and wide. And he had the Ark of the Covenant brought into the temple. So Jerusalem means, metaphysically speaking, habitation of peace. And the ark symbolizes the divine spark of God, and it housed the 10 commandments. So metaphysically, we can say the temple in Jerusalem is the high state of consciousness within each one of us that is built within that inner habitation of peace. And at the center is the ark, the divine spark of God, which carries the essence of universal law. So this great temple was built once Solomon asked for wisdom and an understanding heart, and he placed this before anything else. So to create our temples, to awaken our spiritual gifts and find the prize of the true self through the power of imagination, we must first seek the kingdom, a consciousness of God, knowing our oneness. And this is to go within in a prayerful state and make our connection with the divine. The temple was envisioned first, and through the power of imagination, it was then manifested. So imagination is a very complex power because it involves the realm of thought, changing our thinking, also creative visualization, where we constantly project the desire that we want onto our subconscious mind. It's an affirmative prayer of sorts. And finally, imagination involves visioning. I've always believed there's really no such thing as creating a vision as much as tuning into a vision. Like the song Imagine by John Lennon, he suggested we imagine the world a certain way through creative visualization, but he had already tuned into it, already seen it, to even write the song to begin with. The great German mystic Meister Eckhart reminds us, we are heirs to the fearful, creative power of God. So this week, I invite you to call forth your power of love by placing your focus on your heart center and affirming, I am loving and lovable. Sometimes it's hard for us to believe we're lovable, but let's just say that together. I am loving and lovable. And call forth your power of imagination by placing your focus deep between your eyes, the middle where the pituitary is, the third eye. And imagine a positive, and the affirmation is, I now imagine a positive outcome. Together, I now imagine a positive outcome. Take time to read and do some of the exercises at the end of your handouts. Sometimes we discover our true gifts through difficulties or through a wounding. So in closing today, I want to tell a very brief story about a wounding that gave birth to greater love and imagination. And you may have heard it, but it's worth remembering. There was a young boy who had a very traumatic experience that opened up his path and his creative gifts. His name was Walter Elias, a city boy by birth, the son of a building contractor. Before Walter was 5, his parents moved from Chicago to a small farm in Missouri. It was there on the farm that Walter would have his first encounter with death. Walter was only 7 that particular summer afternoon. His dad was tending to farm chores and his mother was in the house. And it was a perfect day for a young boy to go exploring. So just beyond a grove of willows was an apple orchard. And there Walter could make believe to his heart's content that he was lost, which he never was, or that he had captured a wild animal, which he never had. But today was different. Directly in front of him, 30 feet away, perched in the low drooping branch of an apple tree, and apparently sound asleep, was an owl. The boy froze. He remembered his father telling him that owls rested during the day so they could hunt by night. What a wonderful pet that funny little bird would make if only Walter could approach it without waking it and snatch it from the tree. With each step, the boy winced to hear dry leaves crackle beneath his feet. The owl did not stir. closer and closer, and at last young Walter was standing under the limb, just within range of the owl. Slowly he reached up with one hand and grabbed the bird by its legs. He had captured it. But the owl, waking suddenly, came alive like no other animal Walter had ever seen. In a flurry of beating wings, wild eyes, and frightened cries, it struggled against the boy's grasp. Walter, stunned, held on. Now, it's difficult to imagine how what happened next happened. Perhaps the response was sparked by the gouging talons or by fear itself. But at some point, the terrified boy, still clinging to the terrified bird, flung it to the ground and stomped it to death. When it was over, a disbelieving Walter gazed down at the broken heap of feathers and blood, and he cried. Walter ran from the orchard, but later returned to bury the owl, the little pet he would never know. Each shovelful of earth from the shallow grave was moistened with tears of deep regret, and for months thereafter the owl visited Walter's dreams. Ashamed, he would tell no one of the incident until many years later. By then, the world forgave him. For that sad and lonely summer's day in the early spring of Walter Elias brought with it an awakening of the meaning of life. Walter never, ever again killed a living creature. Although all the boyhood promises could not bring that one little owl back to life, through its death, a whole world of animals came into being. For it was then that a grieving 7-year-old boy, attempting to atone for a thoughtless misdeed, first sought to possess the animals of the forest while allowing them to be free by drawing them. Now the boy too is gone, but his drawings live on in the incomparable, undying art of Walter Elias Disney, Walt Disney. His wounding and the power of love led him to his true creative gifts, and all of us have been blessed. Disney is a great example of the archetypal creator, and what an imagination he had. We are all lovers and creators, each in our own way. No matter what is going on in your life, remember, go within, seek God first, and then all else is added. Ask to know more of love and imagination, and you will be given all that you need, and even more, in greater surprises. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy, for the nice lesson. We are going to go into our offering. So we are not passing the baskets, but you are welcome to donate either online using the QR code or leaving some offering in the back in the basket. Or if you would like to mail a check, you can find our address online. But we will say our offering, blessing of the offering together. So divine love flowing through me now blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I am grateful. Our community news. So as Kathy said, Wendy Erickson is our prayer chaplain this this afternoon. There she is in the back. Nice wave. Her number is also up there on the screen as well if you are virtual and would like to give her a call. Do we have any Christmas music we can just throw on real quick for our Holly Jolly virtual auction coming up? So this is the last week to submit any donations that you have for the auction, and then it will run from November 12th at noon to December 3rd at 8 p.m. So feel free to get your donations in this week, and then be ready to see all of the fun things that we have online with that one. The project, the 1619 project, Race and Education in the United States with Rhonda Italiano, is running. I think we already had one class, so this is the second class, and it will close after that, but you are still welcome to join. It is a 6-week program, hybrid, so both in person and online, so you can have conversations and learn about democracy, race, citizenship, and justice through that class with Rhonda. Our Thanksgiving service is on Sunday, November 19th at 10:30, so feel free to join us afterwards as we give thanks and collectively acknowledge all of the lovely volunteers that it takes to put on our services and take care of the facility here. We'll have a potluck and storytelling on Sunday, November 26th. So we have Donna, Mary, Howard, my dad, shout out, and Noel will all be sharing their stories and giving us a nice little chance to just kind of sit and reflect and feel like a kid again, feeling and hearing nice little stories. So that will be kind of fun. So there's a sign-up sheet in the lobby for the potluck if you would like to bring something for that. And again, that one is on Sunday, November 26th at 12:30. So that's why we're having the Thanksgiving service 1 week early there. A new member class will be held on the 12th. From 12:30 to 2:30, so that's for anybody who is a first-time member wanting to go through and learn more about Unity, or if you want to renew your membership, and that will be with Reverend Kathy and Rhonda, so you can sign up for that one online as well. And then today, after our service, we will be having a continued concert here with the Brooklyn Big Band, so feel free to stay and have a little food and enjoy more of what you guys have to offer us. It's been so fun so far. It's fun, you're like smiling the entire time, so it's been fun to watch. And then after that, this would be November 10th at 7, we have a class with the director here, Dave Mantini, giving a history of rock and roll, which is also a class I took in college, and it was so fun, and it really is interesting to see all the connections that rock and roll has had throughout history. So it's really cool. So I think that one would be super fun to attend here live at Unity North. Suggested love offering $20, but feel free to come and enjoy and learn a little bit more about music. So those are our upcoming classes and things. You can find all of the information online at our website. So.
Let's speak our affirmation together. Centered in prayerful intention, we give thanks for an overflowing abundance of spiritual awakening, prosperity, new members, and children for Unity North Spiritual Center. Now I invite you, well, first of all, I just want to say thank you. Thank you to our Sunday producers, Tracy and Brandy in the back, and Chris. And thank you to Sadie, our worship assistant. Great job today. And a special thank you to David Mantini and the Brooklyn Big Band. Let's give them all a wonderful big hand. All right, we want to hear more. And then I invite you to stand as we speak our prayer for protection and then follow up with our peace song. Together, the light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And there are a couple of slides to give some images of the lover and love, and then the creator and imagination. And you notice the big band is up there too, Brooklyn Big Band. All right. Thank you all.